Welcome to Affair Stories Hub, where we share another enthralling tale of passion and unexpected emotions. If you enjoy these captivating narratives, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more compelling stories. My name is Megan, and I'm a 42-year-old stepmom who never thought I'd find myself caught in such a tangled web of feelings. My husband, James, is a successful executive, always attached to his phone or buried in meetings. While I've always admired his dedication to his career, it often leaves me feeling overlooked and lonely, yearning for the closeness we once had. As days turned into weeks, I found myself longing for connection, craving the affection that seemed to vanish as time passed. Nights were the hardest, hearing James's footsteps echo down the hall as he retreated to his office, leaving me alone in a house that had once been full of laughter and warmth. I missed the spark of romance, the comfort of an embrace, and the thrill of being desired. My thoughts often drifted to my stepson, Ethan, a striking 24-year-old who had recently moved back in after graduating college. Ethan had always been courteous and considerate, the type of person anyone could depend on. But lately, there was a growing tension between us, an undeniable connection I couldn't ignore. He had grown into an exceptionally handsome young man, and I frequently caught myself stealing glances at him. Every time our eyes met, my heart raced. I knew it was wrong to entertain such thoughts, but the harder I tried to push them away, the stronger they became. One dreary afternoon, after another lonely day waiting for James to come home, I decided to change my clothes and try to boost my spirits. Standing in front of the mirror, I let out a sigh, longing for the days when I felt beautiful and wanted. I wandered to the bedroom, hoping to escape into my thoughts, letting my imagination run free for a moment. As I slipped into a silk robe, the door creaked open unexpectedly. It was Ethan, home earlier than I had anticipated. "Hey, Megan," he greeted casually, his bright smile lighting up the room as he stepped inside. My heart skipped a beat, and I instinctively clutched my robe, but it was too late. Ethan's eyes widened for a split second before he quickly looked away. "Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt," he stammered, his voice faltering. "It's fine," I replied, working to maintain my composure. "I was just changing." A blush crept over my cheeks as the air between us thickened with unspoken tension. For a moment, we stood frozen, the weight of the moment pressing down on us. Ethan shifted awkwardly, his gaze flicking between me and the floor. "I should probably go," he muttered, taking a hesitant step toward the door. "Wait," I called softly, barely above a whisper. "You don't have to leave. We can talk." He paused, his eyes meeting mine as if he were trying to gauge the situation. The unspoken energy between us felt almost tangible, and I knew I couldn't let this moment slip away. "Ethan, I've been feeling so lonely lately," I admitted, my voice trembling. "It's hard being here without James around." Ethan nodded, his expression serious. "I've noticed," he said softly. "It's been strange with him so distant." I hesitated for a moment, then took a deep breath and said, "What if we spent some time together, just the two of us?" To my surprise, a small smile spread across his face. "I'd like that," he replied. Drawn by an invisible pull, I stepped closer, the distance between us narrowing until we were just inches apart. I could feel the warmth radiating from him, and my heart beat faster. "Ethan, I want to be honest," I said quietly. "I've thought about you more than I should." His eyes widened slightly, but he didn't move away. "Me too," he admitted, his voice tinged with nervous excitement. Before I could overthink it, I leaned in and kissed him. At first, the kiss was hesitant, testing uncharted waters, but it quickly deepened, igniting a spark I hadn't felt in years. His hands found my waist, drawing me closer as we melted into the moment. When we finally broke apart, I was breathless, my mind spinning. "This is so wrong," I whispered, my heart pounding with both guilt and exhilaration. "Maybe," he replied, his voice slow and husky. "But it feels so right." Before I could dwell on the consequences, I pulled him into another kiss, my fingers tangling in his hair. The kiss became more passionate, his hands roaming across my back as I pressed against him. Every touch sent a shiver through me, reigniting desires I thought had been lost forever. As we broke apart again, I looked into his eyes, seeing the same blend of excitement and uncertainty mirrored in them. "Are we really doing this?" I asked softly. He nodded, a faint smile tugging at his lips. "I think we already have," I whispered, feeling breathless and alive. "Yes," he said, firmly gripping my chest and pulling me closer. "I want this, Rachel. I've wanted you for a long time." With those words, I felt emboldened, fueled by a desire I could no longer suppress. I stepped back slightly and took his hand, leading him toward the bed. The moment felt surreal, yet I was ready to embrace it wholeheartedly. As we sat on the edge of the bed, I leaned in closer, our lips meeting again with more urgency this time. Ethan's hands roamed my body, exploring every curve. As I melted into his touch, I could feel the heat building between us, igniting a fire I hadn't felt in years. My fingers traced along his jawline, and I could see the desire burning brightly in his eyes. "Let's not hold back," I said breathlessly, exhilarated by my newfound boldness. With a nod, he leaned in again, kissing me deeply. I could feel him pressing against me, his body hot and eager. My hands explored his chest, feeling the solid muscles beneath his shirt. I knew I wanted more, and the thought thrilled me to my core. Slowly, I pushed him back onto the bed, straddling him as I kissed him with urgency. He looked up at me, his eyes wide with surprise and excitement. "I never expected this," he breathed, his hands gripping my hips tightly. "Neither did I replied, my voice low and sultry. "But it feels too good to stop now." As we continued kissing, I could feel him responding to my every touch, our bodies moving in perfect harmony. I started to slide my hands under his shirt, exploring his toned abdomen, feeling the warmth of his skin. He let out a soft groan, and the sound sent shivers down my spine. "God, Rachel, you're incredible," he whispered, his hands moving to my back, pulling me closer as I ground against him. I loved the way he looked at me, the desire in his eyes fueling my confidence and making me feel alive. "I want to feel you," I whispered, my voice thick with longing and yearning. "Then let's not waste any more time," he said, his hands finding the hem of my robe, gently pulling it apart. As I gasped at the sensation of being exposed to him, I felt a thrill of excitement wash over me. "You're beautiful," he murmured, leaning in to kiss my collarbone, igniting a fire within me that spread like wildfire. I could feel the heat rising, and I let myself succumb to the pleasure of the moment. His hands explored my body, igniting every nerve as his lips traveled down my neck, sending waves of pleasure coursing through me. A soft moan escaped my lips, and I arched my back against him, craving more of his intoxicating touch. With growing confidence, Ethan sat up, his hands gripping my waist as he flipped us over, pressing me against the bed. His eyes sparkled with a mix of desire and mischief as he leaned in, capturing my lips in another fervent kiss. I could feel the weight of him against me, every moment electric and filled with anticipation. In a bold moment, I reached for him, and my breath caught at his sighs. It was so overwhelming that I couldn't hold on. His soft moans filled the room, fueling my desire even more. We surrendered to the moment, losing ourselves completely as the world outside faded away. Our whispered words and the rhythm of our bodies moving together filled the air. Every touch and every kiss deepened the connection between us, intoxicating and undeniable. As we explored each other, I felt a freedom and liberation I hadn't experienced in years. I wanted to immerse myself fully in the moment, discovering every part of him and letting go of everything else. As the intensity eventually ebbed, we found ourselves in a tender embrace. Catching our breath, I gazed into Ethan's eyes, overwhelmed with a joy and excitement I hadn't felt in so long. But the spell was abruptly broken by the sound of the doorbell ringing, yanking me back to reality. "What was that?" I asked, panic surging through me as the weight of our situation became clear. "It's probably your husband," Ethan said, his voice tinged with urgency. My heart raced. "Michael wasn't supposed to be back for hours," I exclaimed, scrambling to adjust my robe. "Quick, we need to hide," Ethan urged, glancing toward the door. We leaped into action, frantically trying to compose ourselves. Just as we managed to pull ourselves together, I heard Michael's cheerful voice echo from the hallway. "Rachel, are you home?" he called out, sounding completely unaware of the chaos just moments ago.
Yeah.
"I'm in the bedroom," I called back, my voice shaky as I shot Ethan a panicked glance. He nodded and slipped into the closet just as Michael walked through the door. Michael entered with a warm smile. "I didn't think you'd be here." "How was your day?" he asked, stepping closer. "Just the usual," I replied, forcing a smile and trying to appear calm. "How was yours?" "Busy as ever," he said with a sigh. "But I thought I'd take a break and spend some time with you." I nodded, trying to suppress the whirlwind of emotions inside me. I could still feel Ethan's presence, the lingering thrill of what had just happened, but I shoved those thoughts aside as I tried to focus on Michael, who seemed blissfully unaware of the tension hanging in the air. The evening passed slowly. Michael and I settled onto the couch, making casual conversation, but my mind kept drifting back to Ethan. Every thought of him sent my heart racing and reignited the fire within me. I couldn't stop replaying our time together, the electricity of his touch and the undeniable connection between us. A few days later, while Michael was out late for another meeting, I found myself alone in the house once again, consumed by memories of that last encounter. I missed the thrill of being wanted, the feeling of being truly alive. Hoping to calm my restless thoughts, I decided to take a long bath. I lit a few candles and filled the tub with warm, fragrant water, letting the steam surround me. As I lay there, my mind wandered back to Ethan, his hands on my skin, the intensity of his kisses. The memory sent a rush of heat through me, and I realized I needed to see him again. I couldn't resist the pull any longer. Just then, I heard the soft sound of a knock at the door. My heart skipped a beat and I quickly wrapped a towel around myself before opening the door, revealing Ethan standing there with a mischievous grin on his face. "Hey," he said, his eyes sparkling. "I hope I'm not interrupting anything." "Not at all," I replied, my heart racing at his unexpected arrival. "Come in." As he stepped into the bathroom, I felt a rush of excitement at having himself close again. "I was just taking a bath," I said shyly, trying to hide my nerves. "Looks inviting," he said, his gaze lingering on me as I leaned against the doorframe. "Mind if I join you?" I hesitated for just a moment, my heart racing at the thought of being so close to him again, but the thrill was too strong to resist. "Sure, why not?" In an instant, Ethan stepped into the bathroom, closing the door behind him. The atmosphere felt charged with anticipation as I watched him slowly undress, my breath hitching as he revealed his toned body. Every part of me ached to touch him, to explore the heat that radiated from him. As he slipped into the tub beside me, the warm water surrounded us, creating a bubble of intimacy. We exchanged nervous glances before our lips collided in a heated kiss, the water splashing around us as I melted into him. His hands found my waist, pulling me closer as I tangled my fingers in his hair. The kisses quickly deepened, filled with hunger and desire as we lost ourselves in the moment. I could feel the warmth of his body against mine, igniting a fire that spread through me. "You're even more beautiful than I remember," Ethan whispered against my lips, his breath warm against my skin. I smiled, feeling flattered. "And you're more irresistible every time I see you." With newfound confidence, I pushed him back against the tub, straddling him as I pressed my body against his. The water swirled around us, but I was lost in the sensation of his skin against mine. My fingers traced down his chest, relishing the feel of his muscles under my touch. "Rachel," he breathed, his voice filled with longing. "You have no idea how much I've wanted this." "Show me," I replied, my voice sultry as I leaned in for another kiss. This time it was more fervent, the world outside fading away as we explored each other. The water mingled with our desires as our kisses became more urgent. I could feel his hands roaming my body, tracing every curve as I lost myself in his touch. The thrill of being so close to him sent shivers down my spine, igniting every nerve ending. I leaned back slightly, allowing him to kiss down my neck, savoring the sensation of his lips against my skin. "God, Ethan." I gasped, my body arching toward him, craving more. With a low growl of desire, he cupped my face, his thumbs brushing over my cheeks as he pulled me in for another searing kiss. I could feel the heat building between us, a powerful force that drew us closer together, urging us to explore more. The water around us became a blur as we tangled together, lost in the heat of the moment. My hands explored his body, tracing over his shoulders and down his arms as he deepened our kiss, each movement igniting the passion between us. Suddenly, a surge of boldness washed over me, and I pulled back slightly to meet his gaze. "Let's take this further," I whispered, my voice trembling with excitement. "Are you sure?" Ethan asked, his voice thick with desire. "I've never been more sure of anything in my life," I replied, my heart pounding with anticipation. With those words, we leaned into each other, letting the warm water envelop us as we gave in to the heat of our desires. Our bodies pressed together, moving in sync as the passion between us grew, our breaths mingling as we lost ourselves in the intensity of the moment. The world seemed to fade away as we surrendered completely, exploring every inch of each other and letting the connection between us deepen. Kisses turned into whispers, and soft caresses left us both breathless. The warmth of our embrace felt all-encompassing, igniting something within me that I hadn't felt in years. As the water around us began to cool, we pulled back slightly, gazing into each other's eyes and reveling in the closeness we had discovered. I felt alive, exhilarated, and completely in the moment. But the peace was shattered by the sudden sound of the front door opening. We exchanged panicked glances. "Michael's home," I whispered, a wave of anxiety rising within me. "Quick, we have to get out of here," Ethan urged, scrambling to climb out of the tub. We hurriedly dried off, adrenaline pumping as we threw on our clothes and worked to make ourselves presentable. Just as I adjusted my hair, I heard Michael's voice echo through the house. "Rachel, I'm back," he called cheerfully. "We need to hide," Ethan said urgently, nodding toward the closet. I nodded, my heart racing, and we both ducked inside, the small space forcing us close together in the dark. Our breaths mingled as we stood in silence, listening intently for any sign of what might come next. Michael entered the bathroom moments later, completely unaware of the tension lingering in the air. He turned on the faucet and began washing his hands, his tone casual as he called out, "How was your day, Rachel?" "Just relaxing," I managed to reply, my voice steady despite the panic pounding in my chest. Ethan and I exchanged a nervous glance in the dim light, the intensity of the situation almost unbearable. After what felt like an eternity, Michael finished up and left the bathroom, his footsteps retreating down the hall. We both let out quiet sighs of relief, the tension easing slightly. "That was way too close," Ethan whispered, his voice filled with a mix of excitement and nerves. "I know. I can't believe I trailed off, unable to finish the thought, but before I could say more, he leaned in and kissed me softly. The kiss reignited the fire that had just been momentarily extinguished, and I felt my resolve weaken again. "We can't stop now," he murmured, his voice slow and urgent. "This is just the beginning." My heart raced as I stood there, torn between the life I had with Michael and the undeniable pull I felt toward Ethan. Deep down, I knew this was something I couldn't resist. Whatever was happening between us was too powerful to deny, and I was ready to see where it would take us. As we stepped out of the closet, the air was charged with tension and the thrill of the forbidden. We both understood that things would never be the same. The excitement of what lay ahead lingered between us, and I knew I was ready to dive deeper into this